3 years into our marriage, Ethan's one that got away divorced and returned home. She pulled out a check. Divorce, and I'll give you 20 million. Ms. Audrey, I hope you won't tear two people in love apart. My heart fluttered, she was offering too much. 3 years ago, I was drugged and ended up in his bed. I was fully aware that there was no love between us to begin with. Now that his one that got away was back, it was even more reason for me to leave. He, usually so composed, cornered me tightly, his eyes red. I don't agree. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and let us know in the comments where you're listening from. I bought 2 fluffy puppies and a dog bed, placing them directly in the living room. Ethan was a germaphobe, he didn't like cats or dogs. I sat on the sofa, waiting for him to come home, explode in anger, and then divorce me. When he walked in with his long strides, I pretended to be engrossed in the TV. But he just glanced at the 2 white puppies, said nothing, and headed to his study. The next day, secretary delivered a lot of dog food and dog clothes. I figured he might have been charmed by the 2 puppies. At noon, I returned home carrying numerous shopping bags. I had used his credit card. Having so much money spent by someone he disliked, he must be heartbroken. In the evening, someone delivered a lot of new clothes and bags to the house. If it hadn't been for his indifference towards me these past 3 years, I would have thought he liked me. Don't you like them? He returned to find all the items still displayed in the living room. I didn't want to beat around the bush anymore, so I spoke directly. Ethan, I'm setting you free. Let's get a divorce. A flicker of panic crossed his usually composed face. Why? Why? How could he even ask me why? Do you think there's any point in continuing a marriage like ours? He didn't speak, just sat on the sofa with his head bowed, so I couldn't see his expression. I assumed he was seriously considering the financial aspects, given how much money he had. I'm not a gold digger, I'm willing to leave with nothing. That was all his hard-earned money. I hadn't done anything, so it wouldn't feel right to take a share. Besides, his one that got away had given me enough to splurge on. It's best not to be too greedy. I'm very busy these next 2 days. Let's talk in a couple of days. Okay, let me know when you're done, and we'll finalize the divorce. After I said that, I prepared to go upstairs. A moment later, I heard the sound of a door closing. I wondered, was there still something going on at his company at this late hour? For the next week, I didn't see Ethan. In 3 years of marriage, he had come home every single day. Even if it was sometimes late, I would still wake up in the morning to find him lying beside me. Perhaps the company genuinely had some issues recently. I was petting the puppy, scrolling through my social media feed. I saw a post by Ethan's one that got away, Serena. The caption read, "Today's romance." The accompanying picture showed a bouquet of red roses, with a hand visible beside it. With just one glance, I recognized it as Ethan's hand. Because he always wore a ring, and it was on his ring finger. I had seen the same ring on Serena's hand that day. Below the post, I saw several of Ethan's buddies. Jerk. We weren't even divorced yet, and he was already on a date. My phone rang, it was my best friend, Chloe. What's going on with your husband? Why is he with Serena? I exited my social media feed. How do you know? Chloe's voice grew angrier. My sister saw them coming out of a flower shop together. That someone named Serena was carrying a huge bouquet of roses. I, however, remained calm, asking casually, Chloe, is it true that in love, the unloved one is the other woman? Bullshit. Those with a marriage certificate are legal spouses, those without are the other woman. Hearing her indignant voice, my mood wasn't so bad anymore. In a few days, we're getting divorced, and then it'll be completely over between him and her. Hearing my words, Chloe was silent for a few seconds. It's probably for the best. I just can't believe Ethan is actually like this. After hanging up, I started packing my luggage. But I realized that the only things truly mine were a few dozen paintings from the art studio and some personal belongings. I packed all those paintings into boxes and shipped them back home. Just as I finished with the packages, Ethan returned. When he walked in, he was carrying a bouquet of roses identical to the one in Serena's social media feed. These are for you. I hope you like them. I didn't want to call him out. 2 sets of gifts? Was he trying to play both sides? I said indifferently, thanks. After taking the flowers, I placed them on a nearby table without another glance. He only went upstairs to change his clothes and then came back down. The company still has some things going on today, so I won't be back tonight. I hummed an acknowledgement without looking up. But inwardly, I was grumbling, I'm not stupid. He wasn't busy when his one that got away wasn't around, but now that she's back, his company suddenly has endless things to do. Ethan didn't come back for another 2 days. As usual, I gardened, watched TV, and painted for a while. All in all, I lived a very relaxed life. That evening, dresses in front of the mirror. Chloe was getting engaged tomorrow to her boyfriend of 4 years. And her boyfriend was an upperclassman who had helped me a lot during college. As her best friend, I absolutely had to be there to witness their happy moment. I hesitated for a moment, then picked up my phone to call Ethan. We weren't divorced yet, we were still married. It was only right for us to attend such an occasion together. Besides, he and Chloe were high school classmates. "Hello, Ms. Audrey?" A female voice came from the phone. It was Serena. I tried to speak calmly. "I'm looking for Ethan." She sounded seemingly apologetic. "Ethan is busy right now. If Audrey has anything, you can tell me, and I'll relay the message to him." "It's nothing." I immediately hung up the phone. I mimicked her voice, humming, "Ooh, Ethan, I'll relay the message to him, who cares if he goes?" I was planning to go alone anyway. Looking at the apricot backless slip dress in the mirror, I chose a necklace and a pearl headband. Thinking about all the things I wanted to do after my divorce, I drifted off to sleep. By the time I arrived at the banquet, it was already afternoon. The engagement venue was adorned with Chloe's favorite pink roses, as if immersed in an ocean of pink. Honestly, I truly envied her, getting to date, get engaged, and marry the person she loved. "Audrey, come here." Chloe was wearing a pink dress, with sparkling pink sequins. Today, Chloe was truly a little princess. I handed her the carefully prepared gift, and she handed me a small box in return. "This is a gift I spent ages choosing for you. It's a super beautiful handmade craft." "Then I'll gladly accept." We were already used to it, we always exchanged gifts. "Liam, Chloe, congratulations." Liam looked at Chloe with a face full of tenderness and doting affection, and he politely said, "Thank you." Chloe excitedly pulled me upstairs to her room. As soon as the door closed, she excitedly showed me the gifts guests had brought. "Help me unwrap these. If you like anything, just take it." Seeing the mountain of gift boxes, I started unwrapping them too. The feeling of opening mystery boxes was really nice. After a while, it seemed very lively outside. Chloe and I glanced downstairs from upstairs and saw Serena and Ethan entering together. Ethan was in a black suit, and Serena was in a wine-red mermaid gown. Standing together, they looked like a picture-perfect couple. Those two jerks, coming together. Absolutely shameless. Chloe angrily pulled me downstairs. Liam, however, was waiting for her at the bottom of the stairs, explaining, "Our family and the Serena family have a good relationship. My parents sent them an invitation." I gave Chloe a faint smile. "Don't worry about me, I don't care anyway." This was Chloe's engagement party, she had a lot to take care of. I walked into the main hall alone and found a seat. Mr. Ethan and Miss Serena are truly a perfect match. I heard Mr. Ethan has liked Miss Serena since high school. But I heard Mr. Ethan is married. If Ethan really liked his wife, he would have brought her out long ago. Miss Serena has already started taking over Serena, and being with Mr. Ethan is a powerful alliance. Listening to the surrounding voices, I gave a self-deprecating laugh. "See, Audrey, everyone thinks you're not worthy of him." Picking up the drink on the table, I gulped it down in one go. Only then did it hit me, I seemed to be a lightweight. Sure enough, my vision started to double. 2 spinning tables, rotating chandeliers. Dizzy. Only when a cool breeze brushed my face did I clear up a bit. I seemed to be in Ethan's arms. I squirmed uncomfortably a few times. I thought I heard him say, "Please excuse us, I'm taking my wife home first." I must have misheard, he would never admit I was his wife. Ugh, my stomach was churning, I really wanted to vomit. A few gusts of cool wind blew in through the car window, clearing my head a bit. I seemed to see a handsome guy, and he was sitting right next to me. I hooked my finger under his chin, teasing, "Handsome, do you have a girlfriend?" "Audrey." His voice held a dangerous tremor, and he suddenly cupped my bottom, pulling me onto his lap. "Handsome, don't be so eager. Once I'm divorced, I'll take care of you." It must have been liquid courage. Thinking of Ethan and Serena, a wave of bitterness washed over me. "Ethan, you big jerk. Infidelity, you're shameless." The alcohol went to my head, and somehow, I fell asleep. The moment I opened my eyes in the morning, I reached for my phone, it was already 9 o'clock. After washing up, I went downstairs and saw Ethan sitting on the sofa in casual clothes, watching financial news. "There's honey water on the table, it might help you feel better if you drink it." "Oh, thanks." I didn't hesitate and drank it directly, it tasted pretty good. "You're free today. Let's finalize the divorce." After all, dragging it out is quite agonizing, and getting it done sooner would be better for both of us. He showed no extra emotion, just kept staring at his tablet. Sundays, the county clerk's office is closed. Let's go tomorrow morning. Oh, okay. I didn't overthink it and just got busy with my work at the dining table. My art exhibition was about to open, and I had quite a lot to do. We didn't bother each other, each busy with our own affairs. Looking at us, we actually seemed like an established couple. The harmonious atmosphere was broken by the ringing of a phone. Tonight, my mom wants us over for dinner tonight. Are you coming? Ethan looked at me, awaiting my answer. Anyway, we're divorcing tomorrow, so let's treat it as our last family dinner. I'll go. We arrived quite early. What I didn't expect was that Serena was there too. She and Eleanor were beaming on the sofa, exchanging a provocative glance when their eyes met. Me, speechless. Who would want to talk to that wicked mother-in-law? Ethan, come to my study, I have something to tell you. Richard called him from the stairwell. He looked at me, perhaps afraid I would argue with his mom again. I was just about to sit down and keep a low profile. Eleanor spoke. Audrey, it's still early for dinner. Why don't you go help out in the kitchen? I gave a huge eye roll. Didn't you hire that housekeeper to do the work? Why would I need to go? Serena looked so understanding. Maria is getting old, Ms. Audrey. If you help, it'll naturally be much easier for her. I thought to myself, if you're so considerate, why haven't why? Oh, you gone in to help all this time? Easier said than done. Who said I'm naturally kind and compassionate? It was my last day, and I didn't want to argue with them. Anyway, it would be out of sight, out of mind from now on, so I might as well hide in the kitchen for some peace. In the kitchen, Maria and two other maids were preparing dishes. She saw me leaning against the doorframe and handed me a brush. Ms. Audrey, could you please help scrub the lobsters? I looked into the sink. There were about 5 or 6 pounds of crawfish. Scrubbing lobsters? Those things must be incredibly prickly. Although the Audrey family wasn't as wealthy as the Ethan family, I had never done such chores. I knew this was Eleanor's doing. She had always disliked me. I raised my hand. I have a manicure, I can't scrub them, and I don't want to. Then, Audrey, please wash the vegetables. I ignored her directly, walked to a nearby chair, sat down, and started eating some fruit. Maria was grim-faced as she cooked nearby, undoubtedly cursing me countless times in her mind. I pretended not to notice and started watching videos on TikTok on my phone. Seeing that dinner was almost ready, I went straight to the dining table. Ethan and Richard also came downstairs. Ethan sat next to me, and Serena sat next to him. Here, Serena, your favorite crawfish. Eleanor enthusiastically served food to Serena's plate, and Serena smiled sweetly. Thank you, Auntie. Looking down, I saw Ethan serving a piece of ribs to my plate. Eleanor saw it and immediately spoke. Ethan, serve some food to Serena's plate too, but acted as if he hadn't heard and continued eating. I didn't want to watch Eleanor and Serena's display of fake mother-daughter affection, so I focused on eating. I ladled myself a bowl of chicken soup and left the table after finishing it. Sitting on the sofa, I watched the few people at the dining table. Yes, they certainly looked more like a family. I hadn't been sitting long when red rashes began to appear on my arms. Soon after, they appeared on my neck and legs too. These were clearly symptoms of an allergic reaction, but I hadn't eaten any lobster. I suddenly thought of something and called out to Maria, who was nearby. Maria, what did you add to that chicken soup? She looked at me, her gaze shifting evasively. Just a little radish, shrimp, and things like that. Hearing that, I understood. Eleanor just wanted to make my life difficult. What's wrong? Ethan walked over and saw my body covered in red rashes. Why did I feel his voice held urgency and tension? It must have been my imagination. I'm having an allergic reaction. You didn't eat any shrimp just now, so how could you suddenly be allergic? He walked to the dining table and glanced at the chicken soup I had just drunk. Then he angrily turned to Maria. Maria, didn't I tell you Audrey is allergic to shrimp and not to cook any? Eleanor gave Maria a look, signaling her to leave first. I told her to do it. Serena likes shrimp, so I had Maria add some shrimp to the soup. If she can't eat it, then she shouldn't. If she eats it, who's to blame but herself? Couldn't you have said something before she ate? I'm taking Audrey to the emergency room first. We won't be coming back for dinner again. Saying this, he directly pulled my hand and walked towards the door. Serena's eyes were slightly red, looking like she was playing the victim. Ms. Audrey, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were allergic to shrimp. It's just that I've loved shrimp since I was little, so Auntie made it. The more I heard this, the more it sounded like it was my fault, didn't it? With my temper, what I hated most was a faux innocent manipulator. I yanked Ethan's hand away and walked directly in front of Serena. Slap. My palm landed on her face. Eleanor quickly pushed me away, shielding Serena. I clearly saw the hatred in Serena's eyes, yet on the surface, she appeared delicate and pitiful. This time, before Eleanor could speak, Richard, usually a man of few words, spoke up. Audrey, where are your manners? They practically made me laugh with anger. This whole family was ganging up on me. So I'm the only outsider here? Richard, Eleanor, you've gone too far. Ethan's voice was filled with fury. I was furious and unleashed my anger directly. Rules? What rules? My name is Audrey, and I only abide by my own rules. Whoever wants to follow your messed up rules can, but I'm done with this. With that, I walked out without looking back at their expressions. I walked straight out the door. Ethan ran after me, looking at me with a face full of apologies. I'm sorry, it's my fault. How could he have the nerve to act like that, feigning apology? Of course it's your fault. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have gotten married. If it weren't for you, how would Serena even be here? Your parents don't like me, and neither do you. Your whole family likes Serena. I really should step aside, it'll be better for everyone. After I said that, I hailed a cab and left without looking back. I didn't want to go home tonight, not to Ethan's house. I just booked a hotel room, planning to finalize the divorce first thing in the morning. After venting, I truly felt a sense of release. If I had known it felt so good, I would have yelled at them ages ago. This feeling of abandon was amazing. Just as I was about to close the room door, a hand reached in. Looking up, it was Ethan. He was covered in sweat. He must have run here. I didn't want to deal with him. Is there anything else, Mr. Ethan? Hearing me call him that, he visibly froze for a moment. There's nothing else. You should go back now. See you at the county clerk's office tomorrow at 9 a.m. I tried to close the door, but he stubbornly held it open. Just as I was about to get angry, he spoke. I don't like Serena. I've never liked her. He doesn't like Serena? Wasn't she the one that got away he liked since high school? Did they have a fight? Whether you like her or not, it has nothing to do with me anymore. He gripped my hand, entered the room in one swift motion, and pinned my hands above my head. The room lights weren't on yet, it was pitch black. I could even feel his breath on my neck. I struggled to break free from his grip, but unexpectedly failed. His body pressed close to mine, his voice trembling yet incredibly firm. It does. You're my wife. Restrained like this, I felt uncomfortable and yelled impatiently, we're getting divorced tomorrow. After that, we'll have no connection. Go find whoever you want, no one cares anymore. He released my hands, pulled me into his embrace, rested his chin on the top of my head, and his voice was choked up. Please don't divorce me, okay? I'll promise you anything, just please don't divorce me, okay? I opened my mouth but found myself speechless. I love you, and it's always only been you. Hearing those words, my heart gave a violent tremor. I didn't know how to process it. He said he loved me, and it had always been me. I said blankly, but even our marriage was an accident. If I didn't want to get married, no one could force me. I couldn't see his expression, and I seemed to have forgotten to break free from his embrace. Do you know? I've liked you since high school. Back then, you always came to our class looking for Chloe. From afar, I could always see your smile. But I'm not good with words. I didn't know how to talk to you. I couldn't even confidently stand in front of you and say, "Hi, I'm Ethan." I was truly puzzled. All these years, why did you never tell me? You just let me misunderstand, let our relationship become like this. I felt a warm, wet drop land on my neck. I'm sorry. I was just a coward. I was scared that if I told you, you would drift further and further away from me. I don't know how to love. Countless times I thought about expressing my feelings, but in the end, I couldn't bring myself to say it. The reason I wanted to divorce Ethan was because I thought he didn't love me. It was because I believed he loved Serena, and I couldn't bear to be the other woman in someone else's relationship. But his words jumbled my mind. I didn't know what to say or do. In 3 years of marriage, although he was a man of few words and often busy, honestly, he was indeed very good to me. When his mom and I didn't get along, he moved out of the family estate with me. I never had to worry about not having enough money. His supplementary credit card was always for me to use freely. It seemed like, apart from bottling up his feelings, everything else about him was impeccable. Wife, please forgive me, okay? Give me another chance, and I promise I won't disappoint you again. Listening to his affectionate words, I hesitated. I had to admit, I had indeed developed feelings for him. I softly hummed in response. He hugged me even tighter, as if trying to merge me into his very being. Ever since we had that talk that night, Ethan seemed like a changed man. He would check in with me about everything he did. Before work, he would playfully ask for a kiss. Sometimes when he came home from work, he would buy me flowers, expressing his love without reservation. When he opened the door, holding a bouquet of red roses, I was momentarily stunned. He stood at the doorway, explaining seriously, "Serena did confess her feelings to me before she went abroad, but I made it very clear to her back then. Last time, I bought the roses myself at the flower shop, and then I ran into Serena there. I simply walked out of the shop with her. Last time, I also put a small box inside the flowers, which contained our wedding rings." Saying this, he took a small box out of his pocket. Inside was a ring identical to the one on his hand. He knelt on one knee, carefully took the ring, and slipped it onto my ring finger. Then he stood up and hugged me tightly. "Wife, I've wanted a life like this for so long. Thank you. Il. Of you." The next second, I was lifted off my feet. "Wife, now that we have love, can we make love too?" I quickly covered my blushing face. What was wrong with me, missing the Ethan who was a man of few words? So, if you love someone, say it. May every true feeling be cherished, and may the one you love reciprocate your affection. Ethan's perspective. I'm Ethan. Before I was 16, I lived in a small town. My parents were gambling addicts, and we were poor. From a young age, I never fit in with the other kids because I would do my homework after class and go home after school to do chores and odd jobs. Perhaps that's why I developed a quiet and reserved personality. I never really thought there was anything wrong with such a personality. It wasn't until my freshman year of high school that a lavishly dressed couple appeared at our house. They hugged me, crying, and told me I was their child who had been missing for years. Only then did I learn that my parents weren't my biological ones. This also explained why they always abused me and never cared about me. Just like that, I began a life of comfort and abundance, completely different from my previous one. It was one afternoon, with the sunset glow accompanying the setting sun, and the entire view outside the window was bathed in golden light. She appeared just like that, a high ponytail, wearing the same school uniform as me. Her smile was more radiant than the sky behind her. Later, I learned her name was Audrey. She was an incredibly outstanding girl, lively, outgoing, excellent in academics, and she loved to paint. After that, I never missed any of her performances or competitions. But I was insecure and sensitive, and I deeply knew I was not worthy of her. I studied with all my might and approached every project with complete focus. I managed the company very well, and its profits became increasingly impressive. I would still quietly keep an eye on Audrey, knowing what awards she won, where she traveled, and I would also buy her paintings. That night, after a business dinner, when I returned to my hotel room, I saw Audrey. She was lying on my bed with a flushed face, and for a moment, I was at a loss. I thought she had just drunk too much, so I covered her with the blanket and prepared to leave. She hooked her arms around my neck and kissed my lips, soft and sweet. I had also had a little to drink, and my mind was a bit muddled, especially with the girl I had longed for right in front of me. She started taking off her clothes, and her hands mischievously slipped inside my shirt. I knew she might have been drugged. But after she opened her eyes and called out Ethan, the last thread of restraint in my mind snapped. She went from being proactive to passive, her voice shifting from delicate to hoarse. Just like that, we got married. I had actually done a lot of wedding planning guides and memorized many wedding vows. But she said it wasn't necessary, so we didn't have a wedding ceremony. I knew I was a scoundrel, but I couldn't bear to give up this stolen happiness. No matter how tired I was each day, it felt like all my troubles vanished into thin air when I returned home and saw her. I thought, if it could just continue like this, it would be great. At least every day I could see her, painting, eating, watching TV. But then one day she said, "Ethan, let's get a divorce." I had actually dreamed of this scene many times, but when it came from her lips, I still couldn't accept it. I started spending nights at the company because I was afraid that if I went home and saw her, she would ask for a divorce the next second. Secretary said girls liked flowers, so I went to the flower shop and picked out 99 of the most beautiful red roses. I also put our wedding ring inside. In fact, I had placed it next to her vanity table on our wedding day. But she didn't seem to notice. When she received the flowers, she didn't seem as happy as I'd imagined, and she didn't even discover the ring. Inside. I found she had become even colder towards me. She even planned to go to Chloe's wedding alone. I still followed her to the venue. That evening, I carried her to bed, and after tidying up, I had originally planned to go back to the company, but then I remembered that Sundays, the county clerk's office is closed. So I cautiously lay down beside her. It was only supposed to be a family dinner at home, but I didn't expect it to turn out so badly. When I heard Audrey say that I liked Serena, I finally understood her misunderstanding. I immediately drove after her. I couldn't even wait for the elevator, so I ran up the stairs directly. I don't know why, but in that moment, I desperately wanted to tell her everything I wanted to say. It was as if I didn't say it now, I would never have another chance. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories. See you next time.